is Tuesday, and you all know what that means. This is No Filter Tuesday. And today's guest, let's just say I'm very honored because he is living proof of what can be achieved in one's life. Ray McGuire grew up as a poor child in Dayton, Ohio. He had never met his father, like myself. He was raised by a single mother, like myself. I identify with that. But he was an extremely bright and talented child. He won a scholarship to a boarding school in Connecticut, and from there went to Harvard, and from there he would receive his bachelor's degree. He has a business degree, 3 Harvard degrees, and he is serving Black businesses as an executive on Wall Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored and proud to welcome Mr. Ray McGuire. Yes! Hi, Ray!
Hello, lady. How are you, madam?
I'm very well, sir. I'm very well. Can't complain.
You know, this is such a true honor. I have, for I can't tell you how many years, so admired and respected you. You have created ceilings, you broke through the ceilings, you have reached the heights of passion and intellect and curiosity and creativity. You're just pure genius. And I am so, so honored to be with you. I've so admired you for so long.
Well, you are the epitome of the American dream, not just the Black American dream, the American dream that it can be done. It can be achieved with determination, dedication, and drive. You epitomize that for me. And I'm so honored that you had the time to even be on our little show. Thank you so much.
It is you. Whenever I can spend time with someone like you who is so iconic and so well respected, you're revered. And I just must say, from the start, condolences to you and your family and your loss. I think what you posted with respect to your godson was such a beautiful tribute. And I know that the loss is hard. And so my heartfelt condolences go to you and your friends. It's such a tragic loss. And so my heart goes out to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Challenging year for so many, but well, first of all, we have many friends in common. Spike Lee, #1, and your video of the city, and Giuseppe Cipriani, and then Derek Blasberg. I was just like, Ray McGuire, Ray McGuire, Ray McGuire. I was like, yes, please. But tell me, please, how did you get to where you got to? Did you always dream? Can you just give us walk us through your life and how you got to where you are?
You know, I can't tell you that I dreamed about it. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about it. As you said early, my single mother raised me and my 2 brothers on the other side of the street, other side of the tracks. And my single mother, along with my grandparents, raised me and my 2 brothers. And at any moment in time, we had half a dozen foster children in our home. My mother was a social worker. And so, you know, I know what it's like when she has to make choices on putting food on the table or paying the gas and light bill. I know what it's like to wash tin foil. I know what it's like to put those ends of soap. When you get to the end of soap, you got to put them all together to convince yourself that you have a bar of soap. And so I know what it's like to have no money. And I know what it's like when in my 5th grade, the teacher says, you know, I think he's got some talent. And so my mother says, okay. And she says, they're building a school in the south of town, and maybe you should think about going to that school. And so I applied and got in. We had no money. And so from 6th grade to 11th grade, I went to this school. And in 11th grade, I had a 4.0 A average. I was president of the school, and I averaged 28 points per game playing basketball. And there was a teacher there, Robin Melnick, who said, you know, if you're as good as they say you are, why don't you go test yourself against the big boys and girls in the East? I said, where are they? So at 16, I took a Greyhound bus around New England looking for schools and landed at a school in Connecticut called Hotchkiss. And from there, I applied to colleges and was fortunate to get into Harvard, as you said, and other schools, and decided to go there. And so that's how I grew up. And education was my ticket out. And that is the thing that we so desperately want for all of our children.
Mhm.
And I came to New York, I had three things. I had a great education, I had a lot of debt, and I had no money. And so
Yeah.
that's a little bit about the background. And for me now to be sitting talking to Naomi Campbell, come on, man, seriously, that's Hollywood written that script. That's like no way that is ever happening. So
you, even though born in Ohio, you consider yourself a true New Yorker.
I've been here for 4 decades, almost 4 decades. It's where I met my wife, my extraordinary wife.
Who I'm going to get to, because I want to meet Crystal. Because I heard behind every great man, I know there's a great woman.
Let's be clear. Better 3/4, okay? She's extraordinary.
I love that. I love that you even own it. Yes, we love
Well,
it.
I own this. I'm not confused. It's where we met. Listen, I met Crystal here, and we have 3 extraordinary children. So this is where we love the city. So yes,
Which I heard one of your sons just got accepted to, is it MBA or?
Oh, if you just let me tell the story 2 nights ago. Yesterday, all day long, he was a #1 on sports highlights. #1. He was drafted to the NBA. He's number 15 draft choice. He now, due to an injury, he's with the Orlando Magic, and he's a starting point guard. And he hit the buzzer beater. So we will, believe you me, this house was going crazy. You could have heard it.
Crazy.
Totally crazy.
That's wonderful.
You would have thought we hit the shot here. It was such a great shot. So we're so
proud.
And why
not?
Pardon?
And why? You said we would have thought, and why not? You must be so proud.
We are so proud. I'm proud of what
should be. Growing up for you was good memories, tough, but I believe that's what makes us who we are. So, and that obviously has made you who you are. So do you look at your childhood memories as, fondness of, do you cherish those moments?
I look at it so fondly, and I'm dressing up. It is so fundamental to who I am. We had everything, all the essentials, although we struggled, that money could buy, and we had everything that money can't buy. We had love, and we had respect, and we had faith, and we had
dignity,
honor, and that's the foundation, right? That is, because when you have that, as you know, because you've lived your life in such visible forms, you have to have an anchor. You got to have a foundation, because all the things that come at you, they can distract you and take you off from center course. And so I looked at all the things that you had to go through and look at that, and I said, this is extraordinary. This woman is like, as a human being, going through what you were able to accomplish, that's unfathomable. So it's extraordinary that you are an icon, and people respect you and love you and admire you. And so if I can ever achieve anything that is along that same sentence, I'm proud of it. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I have such great memories of my 94 years now.
What was it like being in Connecticut, being in boarding school? Did you like boarding school?
I had a good time. I remember when going to boarding school, they have those little shirts that have alligators on them. Those little eyes.
Lacoste?
Yeah, Lacoste. Well, Lacoste cost more money than my entire wardrobe.
Yeah. I think Lacoste was a school favorite across the world, because it was a favorite in my school too.
It was, but I couldn't afford it. I couldn't understand why somebody would pay all that money for a short sleeve shirt with an alligator
with a little crocodile, right? Because it was all about the color and the way the sleeves were capped. And it was the fabric. It was such a thing.
That was 100% cotton. I had 100% polyester, and I thought I was doing it, right?
Love that. I love that. And then, so what was Harvard like? I've always wanted to go. I've never been to Harvard. What was it like?
Harvard was an extraordinary experience. I grew up there. Because this is where you go and explore yourself. You make friends who are lifelong friends. I can call them today. You don't have anything but promise. I had nothing but promise. Zero. I was on scholarship. Till I finished graduate school. So I had no money. You have work study. But that's when you really begin to test yourself to see if you can eat. And
survive.
Harvard, extraordinary, where you meet people from all over the world, all different creeds and colors and economic backgrounds and religious backgrounds. and you find a way to integrate and to make friends and develop relationships. And the academic experience is unparalleled, unparalleled. So Harvard is one of the greatest gifts I've been given through the sacrifices, again, of my mother, who made certain that education was the most important thing to us.
Number one. When you started to make money, when did you start sending money home? Right away?
Well, you know, making money, I didn't know what Wall Street was. When I went to Wall Street, I actually came to New York and went to Wall Street because I thought that's what it was. Nobody in my neighborhood ever didn't know anything about Wall Street, but
yeah,
making a good having a job, I never knew it was a career. Nobody described it as a career. It was a job. So I had a good job. So obviously you take care of family. So I always took care of family because family, my mother always took care of me. So you get a little bit, you make certain that you can contribute.
I mean, but that's the thing that's like instilled in like Jamaican heritage background. That's just the thing you have to. That's what you do. You know.
That's cultural.
So you launched a career into finance, and how many other Black executives were there when you started out in Wall Street?
You know, when I went to have in my business, in the business that was a client-facing business, if I went to have lunch with a group of Black folks, just me and, you know, maybe one other at a different firm. There was a college classmate of mine who was the first that I knew who went into the business on the client-facing side, and that was it.
That's it?
That's it. I just want to be clear. That's it.
Why do you think that is, Ray?
You know, it's opportunity, it's exposure. I learned about this thing called investment banking and finance my first year of business school. I didn't know anything about it. And I interviewed, and that's a whole other story, but this is where I saw that a lot of big decisions were being made. And some of the best people in my business school section were going to this place called Wall Street and the industry called banking. Yeah, I said, so, you know, they asked me if I was interested. I said, I can get interested. And I got interested, and that's where I went. And it was the highest level of competition in finance. That's it.
Must be extremely competitive. I was going to ask you that.
Hmm?
Well, you rose to it. I mean, I guess you didn't start to get much sleep from that point on in your life.
No. I remember I gave a conversation once, lecture on work-life balance, and I know you're not supposed to say this, but when it comes to Black and brown people, for me, it was work and more work. So
yes,
and I didn't
understand 100% what you just said. Yeah, and well, President Nelson Mandela always said to me, Naomi, I'll sleep when I'm dead. We can sleep when we're dead. So I believe in that work ethic. You have to take it when you have to do it, and that's it. There is no sleep, doesn't even come into the mind. So Ray, and now here we are. You are running for New York mayor. Thank God. Did I say that? Yes, I did. We need you. We need you. I mean, New York is my adopted city. I'm British, but I live in New York, and I've lived in New York since 1986, on and off. We're gonna bring it back, right? To where it belongs.
We will bring it back, and I think I have what it takes to lead the greatest inclusive economic recovery in the history of New York City.
You absolutely do, and more so.
Thank you. We're all in. There ain't no plan B. There's no cavalry coming.
Okay, so when you thought about running, obviously COVID had not happened. And that's really now throwing everything around the world into a different type of challenge and wrench. And, you know, New York City's coped well with the COVID. The beginning was tough, but I think that they're coping okay, better than some states, that's for sure. But I feel like on other sides of the coin, the crime's gone up, the homeless has gone up, the violence has come up again. So there's a lot of work on your plate to fix. But I believe you can do it. All the folks watching here, this is our man.
Thank you. So we have to do this. We have to do this. I mean, this is the greatest city on the planet, and all due respect to others. But in terms of aspiration, in terms of where people have the opportunity to come who have nothing like me and compete with a certain skill set and make it here, then, you know, you've made it in many other parts of the world, and everybody wants to come to New York. And so we need that we get through. There are three crises that we're dealing with now, Naomi. We're dealing with the crisis of COVID. We're dealing with the crisis of all the quality of life, and we're dealing with segregation, and we're dealing with the crisis that exists in people having jobs. So we need to be able to deal with this economic justice and social justice simultaneously, because what George Floyd and COVID have unveiled are the things that you and I know existed systemically before COVID and before
way before. Absolutely. So now that this is all out in the forefront.
It's right at the forefront. Education forefront. What they now call food insecurity, which means people are hungry, is at the forefront. People don't have jobs. That's at the forefront. And so we need a leadership here, Naomi, who understands what it's like not to have.
Yes.
Who understands what it's like to be broke. We need that. We need that understanding, and then we need people.
And who also is going to listen to the young generation.
We have to do that.
We're going to be our future leaders. In creatives, in tech, in fashion, in art, in music, because they really are. And I mean, they now have found their voice, and they need to be heard and continue to be heard.
That's the future. And the only reason that you and I do what we do today is for the future. It's for our children, because we want to make certain that at a minimum they had it as well as we did.
Yeah.
This is our legacy. This is our legacy. And so we have to do whatever we can to invest in the future. We have to lead them. We have to listen to them. We have to apply the wisdom that we've been able to get to their lives so that they can then lead. And we carry it on intergenerationally. So all the people who stand on your shoulders and who look to you and look to your example, and you give them what is so essential. You give them hope. You give them hope, right? That's all we want. That little girl yesterday talked about just this. If only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it, and you've done that. That little woman, a man that's sitting there giving that poem, not a little woman, just this extraordinary young Black woman. That's the future that you're talking about.
And that's all that's what really everyone, the message that everyone seemed to take home from the inauguration was that poem was so rang true and touched everyone in so many different ways. I know that you know Joe Biden. You're obviously very happy with the result of and having a new president running the country, and Kamala Harris. Obviously, you know both of these wonderful people. Tell us your thoughts on how, you know, what you think they're going to have to starting to do to clean up America and the image of America.
You know, the message that Joe Biden gave us at the inauguration, which is a message of unity and a message of moving forward together. And what he talked about was the soul of the country, the soul of America. And so we're trying to make certain that we'll restore the vitality of that soul. And he spoke about that so powerfully and so eloquently. And to have him partnered with Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, who we introduced to New York, to have him there have her there with him as his partner. Just think about the signal that sends around the world, and the message of unity, and the message of restoring to the relationship that allowed us to go and continue to promote and support democracy and hope and promise around the world. That's the message. We got to fix what's here. We also need to make sure that places around the world that look to our example, that we can give that example and continue to give that example as the beacon of hope.
Well, I really hope, one of the things I really hope is that for African Americans, which is what they call Black people in America, I have to say it just like that, I want that they let them know about their history, their ancestry, and really where they come from. Because I feel like from what I hear and what I sense and that they've been robbed of that part of their education and not knowing. And I feel like right now people want to know more about where they truly come from. Why are they labeled African Americans?
So, that's such a powerful point. It's a powerful moment. I look at the way that we have gotten here as a people is on the shoulders of those who came before us. And 66 years ago, there was a woman who decided not to get off of a bus, and her name was Rosa Parks. That same year, we found a little black boy on the side of the Tallahatchie River. His name was Emmett Till, and that began that movement. In 1954, 67 years ago, Brown versus Board of Education. And I take that and I go through the Civil Rights Movement, the Voting Rights Act, and the Civil Rights Act, and I look at that and look at the progress that has been made. It took us 41 years to return to black and brown folks being at the forefront. And Barack Hussein Obama was announced to be the president, the 44th president of this country. That history is so rich. So the shoulders on which I stand, the shoulders of Vernon Jordan, the shoulders of Franklin A. Thomas, who was the person who brokered the peace between Mandela, de Klerk, and Botha, a New Yorker, ran Bedford-Stuyvesant Corporation, Restoration Corporation, ran the Ford Foundation. It's on those shoulders that we stand, Maynard Jackson in Atlanta. And what did they do? They allowed us to stand on their shoulders, and they extended a ladder for those people like me to come up. And so each of us has the opportunity, and I would think of the responsibility to extend the ladder, to continue to extend that ladder. And on that ladder, you need to know the rungs of history so that you know what it took to get you there and that you don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Young women need to know that Naomi Campbell, how she appears so elegant and regal, and that she in fact is fashion royalty, that she has a journey we should all try to emulate what she's gone through to get us to where we are. And so we need to know that history. We need to know the history from Knock to Benin to Ballet to the great warriors.
It's important to know it. It's this, I hope that when you are mayor, that this is something that you will then bring into schools, or, to let these young kids need to know. And I feel like now, I don't know what the curriculum is, but I feel like the curriculum, I did some work with, I know Emerson Collective, Laureen Jobs, and Ruslan Ali. And I went to some of their events for HQ and Emerson Collective. And I love what they're trying to do in terms of to change the curriculum. The curriculum, I feel, is a little bit dated. Is that something that you're for?
That is, I am so in favor of this. We need to tell our history, and we need to tell it through whatever medium that we can, including electronic, including digital, including internet with access to broadband. And we need to give our kids laptops and tablets so they can have access to broadband.
Listen, I'm broadbanding with you all the way from Africa, so it works. This is a perfect example.
And where are you in Africa?
I'm in Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, wow. You're at the heartland. You're at the heartland.
I'm at the heartland, the second biggest population the first biggest population in Africa, then it's Egypt. And I was in Egypt before I came here. But I just feel we're all going to be connected in the right way now. I don't want to ask you about the past president. I really don't. I do, but I don't. What's there to say? It was just a show, a shocking show. That's what I can say. But it definitely shows you what not to do.
It shows us what not to do, and it also shows me as a leader what's important to do. We have to celebrate our cultural heritage. And there's no mistake about who I am. I'm 6'4" and 200-pound black man. There's no denial about that. It's something in which I take a lot of pride. I'm my mama's youngest son. So yeah, I take so much pride in that. And it's pride that exists through the depths of our culture, and we have to celebrate it. And so what we do in museums here and how we support the artists is so fundamental to carrying on that tradition, that legacy, that rich, deep culture that has so influenced everything that takes place around the world.
Can I ask you a question? Something that just came to my mind. when you were working, when you got into finance and you were going into your office, into your first job, knowing that you're the only black man walking into this office, how did that feel for you? I've gone through it in my world, but what did that feel like for you?
You have to
Did you
own it.
care?
Yes, you have to own it. You have to know that it exists. You have to know that you have to work twice as hard to be viewed the same way. The rules of the game are not the same. I want to be very clear about this, and we shouldn't be confused. They're not the same. My margin for error didn't exist. And to be the longest standing head of the business in the history of Wall Street for 13 years meant that I had to, what got me there? It got me prayer, preparation, performance, and in the neighborhood, you got to have a little bit of paranoia. And those four things got me there.
Prayer, preparation, performance, and little paranoia. Love that. I'm going to remember the 4 Ps, the 4 Ps. So I'm in fashion, obviously. What are we going to do with, I know you're into art. You know a lot of great art collectors and artists. And are you going to do some new things in the museums, again, in educating us? And also with fashion designers, because we've lost a lot of designers during this COVID that have not been able to keep up and balance. And obviously finance has been the center part of it. Is there going to be a way forward for this artistical, creative people?
One of the events that we held here during this, during the campaign was Artists Foray. And I was so overwhelmed. We thought we were going to have 150 or so people. Naomi, at 2 minutes after the event started, it had the capacity of the system was done. We had 300 plus people and people trying to get in. Art is essential. It is fundamental. Yeah. So the artists and the small businesses, including all of those in fashion, are fundamental. Just think about how culture has advanced because of the art and fashion. Mm-hmm. Think about how we think about ourselves because of art and fashion. So yes, I will be a heavy investor. I want to be in the arts and in fashion and in culture and in arts education and in fashion education. So yes, I can see the importance of them. I can see how they have changed culture and also given us hope and promise. So yes, I'm a huge investor and I have a track record of doing just that. I'm not just talking about it. I've been about it.
Action! Well, can I ask you, is Crystal with you?
Crystal is somewhere.
Is she close by? I'd like to say hello to Crystal because like I said earlier, I want to meet the woman who you said is 3/4. We can't let that slip.
So I don't know if Crystal's around, but Crystal may be with Leo. He's homeschooling today. So
I see someone behind you.
Oh, there's Crystal. There she is.
I see someone, Crystal. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. We had to meet you, Crystal. The viewers have to see you because folks, behind Ray McGuire is Crystal McGuire. This is the reason.
Oh, thank you so much.
He said it himself here on No Filter, 3/4.
Well, he likes to say that, but I like to say he's actually my better 3/4. We're both very blessed to have each other.
Congratulations on your son and his NBA draft.
Yes, Cole, you heard about the last minute shot. It's brought a lot of joy to our house. It's like
and you got joy coming up tomorrow too because there's a Capricorn having a birthday. No, it's an Aquarius having a birthday.
Yes,
it's an Aquarius. We've gone into the Aquarius. So happy birthday, Ray.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like it's spreading around the world, okay?
Well, listen, I want to say to you both, thank you so much for doing No Filter. If there's anything, Ray, that you want to say, take it over because you've got to make sure that you vote. And I want you to tell the viewers whatever you need to say. This is your platform.
So I would say go to rayformayor.com to hear the story. We have the lived experiences, the experiences in business, having managed budgets that are often larger than most state budgets, and getting that right, and having the relationships necessary to lead the greatest inclusive economic comeback in the history of this great city. And oh, by the way, we have as our friends the great iconic Royal Naomi Campbell. So thank you.
Listen, I'm for you. Even though I am a resident of New York, so I think I have the right. I can vote, can't I?
You can, yes,
absolutely.
you can
Absolutely.
vote.
So
Yes.
you
And
got my vote.
The primary is June 22nd. Everybody has to
22.
vote in the Democratic primary and be registered as a Democrat to vote. I mean, so we have friends who are Republicans, independents. You can re-register by February 14th to vote in the Democratic primary. So that's really important.
Got it. So I need to make sure I'm registered by the 14th of February, which is very soon. So I'll get on that as soon as I get off with you. I'll make sure I get that done.
Thank you. And all yours who are Republicans, have them transition their party by the 13th. Get registered. We need all support to make this city as great as it can be. So thank you for having me.
We're so bring it back.
Honored.
No, Ray, thank you so much. And thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much, both of you. We need to bring back New York to what it was, and we will bring back New York. We will. Ray McGuire will be our next mayor. So, folks, you heard it here. Register on the 14th of February. Primary on the 22nd of June. Thank you so much. God bless you both, and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you so much. Okay.
You heard it here first. Ray McGuire, what an incredible journey he has had, but what a dream he is still standing to show us that it's all possible. Such hope. So, you want Ray McGuire to be mayor? You need to get to the polls by the 14th to register, and by the 22nd, you need to vote of June 2021. I am going to be registering, and I am going to be voting for Ray McGuire to be our mayor of New York City, because New York City is our big apple. It's my adopted city. It just gives such inspiration and motivation. You heard the 4 P's from Ray. You know the 3 D's from me: dedication, determination, and drive. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this show today. Please like the video and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Telling you from Lagos, Nigeria, brown girls out.